You know, it's been rough because got a lot of stuff going on, and sometimes it's more stressful than it needs to be. Sometimes life is harder than it needs to be. And then you know something? You're just looking for a sliver of joy, Canty. You're looking for a sliver of joy, Molly. And of all the things to be joyful about, you know, the NFL season coming up, college football season coming up, me being back on the air with my boys. Yo, some dude, Marcus Spears Jr. is the #1 prospect in the country. Now, I don't have a son, damn it. I don't have a son. But let me tell y'all, America, I am touched. My heart is full. Marcus Spears Jr. is the #1 prospect in America. In America. And guess what, baby? Your Pops is on the air. So proud. But let me tell you something. There's a whole bunch of people right here in the ESPN family that's proud of you, my brother. I'm getting emotional right now. First takes in the house. I'm getting emotional right now. Let's go.
I mean, proud of Marcus Spears, Stephen A. How about his wife? She's the hooper.
Yes.
She brought the genes. Am I right, Marcus?
Absolutely.
And if I remember correctly, wasn't your daughter the #1 volleyball player in the country as well? So I don't know what's happening in the Spears household, but that is some good genes right there. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into First Take. Got my guy Chris Canty with me, Marcus Spears, and of course Stephen A. Smith. And let's get this party started, guys. Oh, go ahead, Stephen A. Sorry, we got a delay. I'm not trying to.
I didn't bring up the wife, Molly, because I felt like if I brought her up, but I didn't do it in precisely the fashion that she approved, she would come for me. So I figured I'd leave it to you, Molly. I wanted to be safe. I'm a smart man. Ain't nobody calling me a dummy.
Play it safe. Play it safe.
We'll keep it rolling here, guys. Right. And we're starting in the NFL. Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders strained an oblique throwing Wednesday morning, according to the team, and was held out of first day of joint practices with the Eagles. Sanders is considered day-to-day, won't practice today, and likely to play in the preseason game versus the Eagles Saturday. His injury is the latest in a string of ailments that have impacted the Browns quarterback room. S.A., I'll start with you. What does this injury mean for Shedeur?
Well, to me, it's a setback. Just my personal opinion. Not a negative against him in any way. But I thought the momentum from his performance against the Carolina Panthers was something that he was going to be able to ride, even when he was still left as #4 on the depth chart. You had us speculating as to why that is. With a Kenny Pickett, with a Dylan Gabriel, both hampered, right? Joe Flacco is a given. We understand where he's at this point in time in his career and what he means to the Browns. He's their security blanket who would probably start at the start of the season because he's your QB1 for the moment. But we looked at Shedeur Sanders, and then I'm thinking about, okay, you got joint practices with the Eagles, and then you got a game this Saturday night against the Eagles. And if you're going up against the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, whether it's against a second or a third unit, but you look as good, if not better, than you did against the Carolina Panthers last weekend, that would be something that would really, really be good for him. The fact that he's now hurt and he's not going to be able to play in all likelihood this weekend, to me, is a setback in that regard. Again, not a negative, fellas. It's just that I thought momentum was in his favor coming into this weekend, and now that has been derailed.
Yeah, Stephen A., you're just being a realist. Shedeur Sanders is a 5th-round pick. He's trying to win a job. And in the NFL, a part of your job description is availability. So anything that can interrupt the progress that he's made in training camp is something that you should be concerned with. But I look at this a little bit differently. This could be a blessing in disguise for Shedeur Sanders. And here's what I mean by that. The ultimate objective is to sell the Cleveland Browns that you are their future at the quarterback position, especially considering that the Browns have 2 first-round draft picks in 2026. Maybe, just maybe, it might be in Shedeur's best interest with this potential injury, the fact that you're not going to see him out there against the Philadelphia Eagles on Saturday night. It tampers down unrealistic expectations that some people, and I say some, not all, have been putting on Shedeur while he's been considered or being in the mix for the QB1 job. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, starting the season as QB1 as a rookie might not be ideal. When you think about it, they're at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. Then they got a string of 5 straight playoff teams: Baltimore Ravens, Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not a soft place to land if you're Shedeur Sanders. So what I'll say is this: although it's never ideal to be dealing with an injury, the fact that the severity of the injury is not going to be expected to keep him out long term, and the fact that this does give everybody a chance to chill out with the expectations, I think it could be a good thing for Shedeur in the long run.
Yeah, see, I understand that premise, but I contextualize it like this, all right? I thought it was semantics to keep him 4th overall. I still think him, Dylan Gabriel, and Kenny Pickett are all bunched up to see who the guy will be behind Joe Flacco. Obviously, Kenny Pickett having probably a little bit more of headway because he's played in the league before, but everybody understands too that there's a book out on him and some idea of what he is as a quarterback. The unfortunate part about this oblique injury is what I thought the preseason game would do for him, and it would get him more reps, more intentional reps in practice, especially with what Stephen A. brought up. Now you're practicing against another team. You get a chance to see him against a defense, hopefully with good on good. And when we went into the preseason game, and Stephen A. and I talked about this, I thought that this was an opportunity for him to move up, not the depth chart, considerably when it comes to where he would be placed as the quarterback in line. It moved him up in practice reps. And see, you know how important that is when we start talking about good on good, 1 versus 1s, or even if you're the second string guy and you're getting a taste of what defense is with the real good players being out there. Shoot, his own defense being really good and trying to disseminate whether he can function in that. That is why, to me, I'm not going to go all dramatic and say catastrophic, but to me, the leeway that was made by that preseason game should have moved him forward as far as Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel goes. And now we're having a competition as to who will be the second string quarterback for the Cleveland Browns based on these performances throughout the preseason. And I think he loses some of that. Now, here's the caveat. The other 2 didn't lose perceivably their position by being hurt. And he has to have a lasting impression based on what he did in that preseason game. So when he comes back, we'll get an answer still of if he's moved way into competing with Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett as far as being the backup.
Well, the one thing that I want to bring up, and I think is very important, guys, is that you guys know this better than me. It's entirely significant when what your position is on the depth chart at the start of the season, as opposed to the start of training camp and ultimately preseason. Because what happens is that they had him in that position before he competed, before he had a chance to prove himself. It's not like they walked in there and they said, okay, y'all competed, and as a result of what we've seen, we've got you as the QB4. No, you came in there and that's where they placed you. You understand? They drafted Dylan Gabriel ahead of you. Kenny Pickett has already been in the league as a starter at some times when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, as a reserve with the Eagles and what have you. And then Joe Flacco is a guy that took you to the playoffs when Deshaun Watson went down. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's entering his 18th season, and you know as a veteran, he doesn't need what those guys need in terms of experience. So we got to look at it from that standpoint. See, what I'm saying is that when you bring up the fact that he has to work his way up and what have you, we're talking about the QB2 position. I think that if Shedeur Sanders positions himself to be the QB2, then you're basically saying, if you're the Cleveland Browns, he's the future. We believe he is based on the short amount of work that we've seen. And that comes with going up against competition. Of course, second and third units and all of that stuff come into play. When you're the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, as opposed to the Carolina Panthers, had he shown up this weekend and balled out again, playing 45 or more snaps like he did in the first game and putting up similar, if not better numbers, I think that would have boded very, very well for him.
Here's why I disagree with you, Stephen A.